We know that it is a tradition for Republicans to appear on the Sunday shows and just debase themselves for Donald Trump to defend whatever indefensible action or statement he made that week with the most shameless lies you have ever seen. But JD Vance, you did not need to embrace yourself as much as you did today to show off for their leader. But that's exactly what JD Vance did, putting on one of the worst performances I have ever seen. So bad, in fact, that George Stephanopoulos kicked him off air. Yes, while Vance was still yelling, George Stephanopoulos kicked him off air for refusing to answer a question about a scandal that's blowing up this administration. We are gonna get into it all, man. You are gonna wanna stick around for this one. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you have not already and you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into JD getting kicked off air, I wanna start with the first segment of the day that he did on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker, responding to and breaking with Donald Trump after confronted with this resurfaced clip.
I want to play you a little bit of what President Trump had to say about shutdowns past when Barack Obama was president. Take a look.
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the President of the United States.
They're not going to be talking who the head of the House was, the head of the Senate. I really think the pressure is on the President.
If you were president, what would you do?
Well, very simply, you have to get everybody in a room. You have to be a leader. The President has to lead. You have to get the people in a room, and you have to get a deal.
Mr. Vice President, by President Trump's own calculus, the pressure is on him to get everyone into a room and get a deal, is it not?
Well, Kristen, I wouldn't focus on the political pressure to get a deal. We really don't care what the poll numbers say.
But what about what President Trump said?
What's good for the
What
American
about what
people.
Mr. Trump said, his own words?
Well, Kristen, the president was talking back then when Barack Obama was president about the political realities. We are focused now on the governing realities because we're in power and we're trying to make the American people's government work for the American people, despite the fact that Chuck Schumer...
I am sorry, JD, there's just nothing you can do. I know is trying to spin it and say, well, the political and the governance, and I am gonna say a bunch of different words that do not mean anything except for the fact that I am fucked on air right now. Yeah, JD, we understand that you are not a real big fan of the past and words that are on the record. Statements with lots of clarity that expose what a liar and hypocrite you are. One that I had like to keep in mind as JD Vance freaked out all day, attacked the left and our rhetoric. And we are not gonna watch those clips cause it's just such a big bag of bullshit. But JD, you know, that time in which Donald Trump was after saying that a president would be responsible for a shutdown as he is now. That was the same time that we are saying that Donald Trump would be America's Hitler. That Donald Trump was a fascist in the making. That he was an opponent for America. Things that are more true than ever today. So do not confront us with our rhetoric, JD, quite literally. You started it, but clearly he does not want to finish it. Because when JD Vance was pressed on the corruption of this administration, he completely folded, tried to squirm his way out of it. He could not, and it did not go too well because George Stephanopoulos just kicked him off air.
An FBI surveillance tape in September 2024 accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money or give it back?
George, you've covered the story ad nauseum. Tom Homan did not take a bribe. It's a ridiculous smear. And the reason you guys are going after Tom Homan so aggressively is because he's doing the job of enforcing the law. I think it's really preposterous. I know Tom. I think that he's a good man. He gets death threats. He gets attacked. He gets constantly threatened by people because he has the audacity to want to enforce the country's immigration laws. I think that it would be a much more interesting story about why is it that Tom Homan, who is simply enforcing Americans' immigration laws, is getting constantly harassed and threatened to the point of death threats. That's a much more interesting question that I think journalists should focus on. We can agree to disagree on that question.
Well, wait, you said he didn't take a bribe, but I'm not sure you answered the question. Are you saying that he did not accept the $50,000?
George, this story has been covered ad nauseum. He did not take a bribe. Did he accept $50,000? I'm sure that in the course of Tom Homan's life, he has been paid more than $50,000 for services. The question is, did he do something illegal? And there's absolutely no evidence that Tom Homan has ever taken a bribe or done anything illegal, which is why he's working in the administration.
I'm asking you, did he accept the $50,000 that was caught on the surveillance tape? Did he accept that $50,000 or not?
George, I don't know what you're talking about. Did he accept $50,000 for what?
He was recorded on an audio tape in September 2024, an FBI surveillance tape, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money?
Accepting $50,000 for doing what, George? I'm not even sure I understand the question. Is it a crime? Even the far left media like yourself. So I'm actually not sure what the precise question is. Did he accept $50,000? Honestly, George, I don't know the answer to that question. What I do know is that he didn't violate a crime.
So you don't, what was caught on the tape, you're saying right now you don't know whether or not he kept that money?
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You're focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
We are gonna go ahead and clap it up for that. Yep, we are gonna clap it up. That is a masterful performance from George Stephanopoulos. And really that's the bar minimum, that is what every anchor should do when these mega idiots come on air. They decide to lie. They will not answer questions, just say no. If you are gonna lie, if you are gonna feed me all the lines of bullshit, JD, if you are gonna try to score me your way out of this, you are gonna say, well, the Democrats and Biden and Blah and Hunter and Burisma, you are just gonna throw out of a bunch of buzzwords. Say, no, we are done with the bullshit. You can exit the program, stage left, JD, go ahead. You are gonna keep yelling. Had enough of you. Please go out of here. And what's so funny about that clip is that Caroline Levitt shared it. I do not really think she has a good read for like. What's take Don and like? What's a dunk and like? Oh man, we crushed that one. JD looks so good. But Caroline Levitt, I do not even want to pull up the tweet. I just want to tell you about it. It was like George Stephanopoulos got so angry with JD Vance that he cut the interview short and he stopped it. It's like, do you understand? That does not look good for JD. George Stephanopoulos, a journalist, was not getting an answer to a basic question. So he ended the interview early because the Vice President of the United States is incapable for answering basic questions because he is a liar, a fraud, and the most corrupt chameleon in America. Like this is a letter climber who only cares about that the next rung up is. JD Vance does not care about truth. JD Vance has no principle or moral stat around him. JD Vance will just put on whatever face is best serving of him at that time. So good on George Stephanopoulos. Caroline Levitt, you are still a moron. We have always understood that, and this is how interviews should be conducted. This is how you need to respond to these Republicans. They are lying. You can say that they are lying. You can call them out on their lies. And we continue to see that as Vance. What a disaster today was for him. Seriously was asked about Donald Trump making targeted layoffs, people that he claims are Democrats. And that's apparently the reason why they are getting fired. But yeah, JD got some pushback when he tried to spin his way out of it.
And specifically, when it comes to what's happening within the health sector, CBS did confirm on Saturday that the Trump administration went and rescinded some of the layoffs of hundreds of CDC scientists who were mistakenly laid off on Friday and then told Saturday that's not the case. But some of them were involved with the federal measles response. Some of them were involved with the response on Ebola. How does a mistake like this happen? Did the White House even talk to the CDC?
Well, so two responses to that, Margaret. First of all, I want to assure the American people that the frontline healthcare workers, the people who monitor measles, Ebola, and other infectious diseases, those people are still on the job, and we're trying very hard to figure out how to ensure those people get a paycheck, of course, because we want them to be happy and healthy. We want them to be able to do their jobs well. But the second point, Margaret, is the government shutdown inevitably leads to some chaos. We are figuring out how to take money from some areas and give it to other areas. That chaos is because Schumer and the far left Democrats shut down the government. We have to remember, Margaret, that the vast majority of Republicans, and to their great credit, a number of moderate Democrats have consistently voted to reopen the government. But if Chuck Schumer and the far left Senate Democrats are going to shut down the government, that is going to lead to some chaos. So you ask, how does this mistake happen? It happened because Chuck Schumer shut down the government, and we're trying to make sure that essential services still function in the face of that shutdown.
But that was a White House decision to lay off these individuals. You heard the president talking about that. That wasn't Chuck Schumer's decision. I understand your broader point on the negotiations, but the layoffs came from the president and the White House.
But my point is, Margaret, that we have to do layoffs because we have to preserve necessary resources to do the most critical things that the government does. And in that phase, you're going to have some chaos. You're going to lay off people, frankly, Margaret, that the White House doesn't want to lay off. We would like to reopen the government and ensure the essential services stay on. But unfortunately, in an environment where we're dealing with limited resources, where the government is shut down, we've got to move some things around. And in that moving things around, there is some chaos, there is some unpredictability, but we're trying to do everything that we can with the hand of cards that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have dealt us. That's our solemn promise, and that's our duty to the American people, but there's going to be chaos. That's why we want to open the government. That's why we want the Democrats.
It is actually quite easy to make a really compelling and authentic argument when the facts are on your side. And they always are for us. So more than anything, we should just be getting out there and talking. I want to see more Democrats in more places. Just talking, just making news, just bringing attention to whatever issue it is. It does not always just have to be healthcare. It does not just always have to be tariffs. It can certainly always be Epstein files, but just go out there and talk. Make news. Point out their lies. Do it together as a unified front. And we have the opportunity to do that coming up quite soon, in fact. And I think you know that I am talking about No King's Day. It's coming up. It's October 18th, and what I had say is I think you know how down in the dumps we have all been. I am sure you are a little down in the dumps. Go out and spend time with the community, with friends, with people who are like-minded in fighting this fascist regime. It will make you feel so much better. If you did not go to the first one, listen up, cause if you went to the first one, I know you are going to the second one. And he'll, yeah, I love you for that. Be out with community, please. We need it so desperately right now. And I am glad we have this community here. We are gonna keep on fighting on the show. If you wanna support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.